never heard a bird like that before. Oh my God, that made me laugh. It sounded like it sounds like somebody that's trying to be a bird. What in the world kind of bird is that? That is so funny. Okay. I was just sitting here asking God in my heart, welcoming God in my heart, because I was feeling emotional just now. I had such resistance in my spirit. And I just got fed up. I got fed up with feeling this social resistance lately that's been going on for years now, honestly. But the avoidance in me, I'm so fed up. I'm really fed up. I get in my head and I know that avoidance is there because I'm hiding. I've been really struggling with anorexia avoidance for a long time, and I'm really tired. I'm so tired. I just want to feel healthy and normal, like a social butterfly. I see myself do it, but I get into this position where all of that goes away, and it feels like a high that I just ran a marathon. And when I'm stable or back neutral, there's that despair, deep-rooted shame and hate and rage and all these different things in myself that I don't want to feel, and I've been neglecting, or I don't know how to feel. I tried to open myself up to it, and it feels like it takes too long. It feels like something that would never go away, so it's almost like, what's the point of feeling it, because it keeps coming back. I was just sitting here asking God, what would you do if you was me? I'm a part of you, of course. I said, you accept me, all of me. You don't get to choose what side you get of me like other people in my life do. There's people in my life that gets different sides of me, but God doesn't get a choice. God accepts and receives all of me, the ugly, the beauty. That God doesn't even depict what is beauty in the ugly things, but I do, and the humanness in us in society does, and God doesn't differentiate, basically. God sees everything as one, so God doesn't see good or bad. God doesn't see right and wrong, but has a logical understanding of it, but doesn't move from that logic. That's the thing. And I know that's something I do. And that's all I ever known. And trying to move from that is challenging. I sat here and asked, what would you do if you was me? And the words just was coming out of me a little more. And because of what I've been dealing with, women feeling this resistance to emotional closeness, and I said, I'm running from the things where God is. I'm like, what? God is in the unknown. God is where the unknown is. God is where women are. So why would I run from God? Why would I run from God and not towards it? What is it that I don't want to accept? And something else I heard was God moves from a place where the identity is abandoned entirely. God doesn't have to think about who they are as a person, if they're worthy or not worthy, self-esteem, all these things. God doesn't have to think about those things. God doesn't move from that place. And it's beautiful because that means there's no limit, there's no boundaries, there's nothing to be bounded by. And God moves from an abundant place, so that love that God lives through is never to be limited. What's the word? It's never to be biased. So God moves from complete wholeness. And there's moments where I get to feel like God at times with that love, where I haven't really thought of who I was. I just simply held space for people and met people where they were without any judgment, any thoughts of who I was. I just felt confident to be in a space. And right now, I just was so fed up because I'm tired of feeling scared. I'm tired of feeling fear. I'm tired of fearing to truly move and operate like God, with God. And lately, instead of me going down a spiral and saying what I wasn't and how things are, even when I do, a beautiful thing I've witnessed myself today and yesterday was, God is here though. But God is here though. God is here with me. Despite how I think I feel, God is right here with me, and I don't have to, I can feel how I feel, but God's love is still here waiting on me. So when I finish feeling how I'm feeling, God's love remains, and it remains the same no matter what. So why can't I love me the same? Why can't I move from that place of not having to think about anything of who I am, no restrictions, no status quo, nothing outside of who I think I am? Who I think I am. Who do I think I am? Because everything that I think I am, I'm not. Who do I think I am? Truly. Who do you think you are? It's laughable. It's laughable because I sit here and say, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want out of this life. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But yet I think I know what I want or who I think I am. And this is the most that I've felt. I had no identity. I felt like I've been running trying to figure out who I am throughout life. But the past year is the most that I felt clueless. So much so to where I had nothing. Complete bare skin. And I really didn't know who I thought I was. And who I thought I was started really in 2023 and it never stopped. It's been going ever since. 2023 is the period of when I saw myself for once, and I did not like it. It was ugly. The self that I saw, I did not like what I saw. I didn't realize how far gone I was from myself until I had to be faced to see it. And me leaving my job during that time, I didn't know that's what gift I would receive. I've been saying it's beautiful to be unemployed, even though there's so much shame that came with it. It's beautiful to be unemployed. Because There's so many gifts that comes with being able to see more outside of my job. Outside of work, doing. There's so many beautiful gifts that I've been able to receive that did not look like gifts at first. It actually looked like a threat. And I received it as a threat. But it's a gift that I couldn't reject. And if I reject the gift, well, I'm just going to get more gifts. I'm just going to be blessed with more gifts that I have to eventually receive because they belong to me. And it took a while to see them as gifts and not as threats. So I just simply ask God to move entirely through my life as I move out the way and let God take center stage again. I want serenity and peace, and to stop running. To stop running. Stop running. Stop hiding. Stop hiding. It's almost as if in order for me to get in the habit, I just need to face everything like as if I was facing God. It's like, what am I running from? Why am I running from God? God is where discomfort is. And God is where comfort is. God is on both spectrums, not just one side. God is where anger is. God is where sadness is. God is where happiness is. God is where loneliness is. God is present at all times. And if that is so, God is where shame is. A lot of us have a hard time accepting God. And I've always thought that God is through one lens, this love, bliss, peaceful, serenity state, and that simple neutrality. That's a place of being nothing. And the place of this deep guilt and anger and rage, God exists too. It's just muddy waters. A lot of muddy waters there. So it makes it difficult to feel like God is there. It's like trying to gasp for air. It's like being on another level in the sea, in the ocean. Having to swim, paddle a little harder to get to the top. But water is there. Air is there. Waiting. Everything is present and plays a part. Coexisting at once. So I don't know who I am. And I say that from a place of acceptance. That I simply don't know who I am. Because everything that I think I am, I'm not even close. Even asking, do I know where God is and who I think God is? God is an experience and a feeling and a sensation, which makes it so universal. And I get to collaborate and be the vessel where God can operate. Where those emotions and sensations are. What a beautiful blessing and gift that God gives. I feel peace when I say God is where The things I run from are. It feels less threatening. It feels approachable because I know that if I leave myself behind and I focus on God as the target, on the very thing that I'm afraid to face or move towards, God is there. And I would just have my trust left that God would meet me where I am moving towards, and that I won't be left alone, that God will reveal to me exactly why God needed me here. But I have to go there first. God has a beautiful way of translation. You can walk a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink it. God wants me to move and show up. And then I learn. And then I be informed. And then I see. But when I'm demanding the steps and the why, get overwhelmed, why complicate it? When all I had was one task, that's all. One little step. And that step wasn't good enough for me. It was too, quote unquote, simple. It was too, quote unquote, surrounded by unknowingness. So therefore, it doesn't need me. But who do I think I am? Who do I think I am? If I'm walking around feeling like I'm not good enough and good enough for someone else at different levels and different stages, who do I think I am? If I can dare at one point fear someone else, who do I think I am? I'm a pebble. Compared to God, I'm a fish in the sea, in the ocean. So who do I think I am? Who do I think God is? And what do I think I know? I know nothing. God operates from a whole different place that I haven't even touched yet. I've been getting samples of what God can be, and I still would never know until I crossed over. So being unemployed was a beautiful blessing in disguise. And being nothing, not knowing who I am, has also been a beautiful blessing because I can be everything. Not knowing who I want to be can also be a beautiful blessing. I have options. It doesn't have to be long term. It doesn't have to be fixed on one thing. If I have the world, then why would I stay in one place? When my soul is wanting me somewhere, I move and I go and ask questions later. Because it's my soul, not another person that asks me. My soul asks me. My soul sent the Batman symbol. It just wanted my attention. It's getting my attention. Depending on my trust with God, my connection with God, and my openness will determine how quick or how slow I move, and if I move at all. And that has been the hardest thing, the absolute hardest thing, where fear also shows up. But fear is like that big boss, or fear is like the shadow that lives behind the person or an object. It's not real. It only exists if the other thing exists first. There can't be a shadow if there isn't a person, place, or thing first. It can only exist with the main thing. If that main thing doesn't exist, the shadow is gone. It does not have an existence anymore. And that's how clear and simple it is about fear. Fear is a test, a simple test to see if you will or you will not. But it is still a choice. But fear will make me feel like I don't have a choice because of everything around me, the noise. My attention starts to all of a sudden go to places that never needed my attention in the first place. My worries, my doubts. It starts to go in places that never needed me in the first place. Who asked me to go there? Who asked me to open these doors when I was showing which door to go in the first place? The initial thought was all that was asked of me, not all the other thinking thoughts, all these other doors that I got distracted by the noise. And I am the only focus on going from point A to point B. I don't need the other alphabets. I don't need to think so high and mighty of myself. I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to feel like I need to be perfect. And to be perfect means to be high and mighty. It doesn't. To be perfect is to accept where exactly I am, how I am, and where I'm going. It's to simply be without any restrictions, without any attachments. As soon as I'm faced with something, I'm facing the mirror. I'm being told what is still biting on me, what is still needing integration. So if shame is coming up every time I face someone, then obviously shame is needing me in my integration. And as hard as that is to accept, because it feels like, oh no, that's not me. I don't have that. What do you mean? Oh God, they saw me. Oh God, I have shame. They this, they that. Being in other people's thoughts as if they know exactly what I'm thinking, as if I can mind read, as if they are me feeling this shame right now, as if I can just place my living soul in them and their living soul. That is nothing but a delay. It's just a buffer. It's just something to fill space. It's just a buffer to distract me. It's just a distraction, that's all. It's just to not feel, it's to feel less and not feel all. It's just to pour in a little oil in the water, muddy it up just a bit. That's all it is. But it doesn't leave, it doesn't remove what's already there. And it still needs me regardless, like the shadow. It needs me in order to be accepted and released. It can't do it alone. It needs my vessel. If God is where shame is, God needs my vessel to operate and to be able to be expressed, just like everybody else's vessels and on this earth. My heart needs air, blood circulation to pump blood. My lungs need oxygen. My heart needs blood. There's an expression that's needed. It doesn't have to be with all the stories attached to it. Those are just buffers. That's all, that's it. That's all, that's it. And every time I accept one of those buffers, it just delays it more and more and more. But that's all it is, a buffer. It doesn't matter which thought it is. It doesn't matter if the thought seems different than the other. It's still a shadow. It doesn't matter if I have a shadow, my sister has a shadow, everybody that I know has a shadow. It actually doesn't matter. A shadow is a shadow. It doesn't change. It doesn't matter if water is in a water bottle. It doesn't matter if water is at the spring. It doesn't matter if water is in another form. It's still water. So I can think that these thoughts are different. but they create the same sensations over and over again. So it doesn't matter. The story does not matter anymore. And the more and more I keep believing it, the more and more I keep delaying it, because the more and more I want to keep avoiding it. I keep wanting to avoid this feeling, the full sensation. If God is where what I'm running from is, then I have to accept what I'm running from in order to get where God is, in order to receive God. There's always going to be love present right as a foundation and right on the roof. I'm never going to be abandoned, but I know how the fear and that strong sensation can make me feel like I am already abandoned before I even started. I'm going, and I'm allowing myself to move without knowing the full story. God would love to say, if only you knew from my point of view and not just yours. If only you knew the things that I could see. Then you would be at peace just like me. There would be no need for all the noise. I would simply be in acceptance. And I would simply accept, okay, got it. I see now. And it's laughable at that point, because it's like, oh my God, I was freaking out so many times. Oh my God, I can't believe that I was doing this and that and trying to do that. And then that was you the whole time. And all these things, and all the time that was wasted. All this noise. So if I stop running and I accept where God is, where I'm running from, then I will completely bash the need to run anywhere. I will completely bash the need to be fearful. I will completely bash the need to move from who I am and start moving from where God is. God doesn't care about self-esteem, being good enough. God just shows up. God is present everywhere. God is already there before the person even knows. God is there when the person leaves, when they go. God is always there. And God will never leave. God is so gracious that God will let you leave and wait for your return. That's how much love and patience and understanding is there with God. God is the perfect example of consistency, holding space. It's like, how do I learn how to love and feel and all these things? Just go to the teacher. Who do I think I am? Who have I been to God? Who do you think God is? The perfect candidate to be taught those things. God doesn't need my performance either. The same performance I give to other people, God doesn't need that. So if God doesn't need it, other people don't need it either. Who are they? Who do I think I am, and who do I think they are? Why are they worth the performance? Why is God worth the performance? If God doesn't need those things, then why do I feel called to give a performance? God didn't ask me for that. So give what God is asking of. That's it. The same thing goes for other people. Doesn't matter what status, doesn't matter who is who and what they have and don't have. The love and everything remains the same. Nothing ever changes. It does not matter who it is. It never changes. The response never changes. So stop performing for people. Stop caring what other people think, because it never mattered in the first place. If it always comes from my own story and my own lens, it doesn't matter. I'm wasting my time and my energy I'm being a disservice to who I think I am. God is trying to get me to focus on beautiful things that could be beautiful seeds in my life, but I'm too focused on things that don't even matter. It's a waste of God's time. It's a waste of my time because I'm the one that needs time, right? God doesn't need time. Everything that I do will be for the benefit of me. God doesn't even need a benefit. When I can be in a place of not needing anything and be in complete neutrality, that's where I for once know what it truly feels like to be God and some sense of fullness in the human experience. Close enough. It doesn't matter if it lasts for 5 minutes, 3 seconds, 1 hour, a week, a day. That's a miracle in itself. But it doesn't have to be foreign. It doesn't have to be a foreign thing. God is truth. So if I'm an untruthful person, I'm going to have to go where God is, which is not being truthful in order to be truthful. I'm going to need to face the distrust to be truthful. I'm going to need to face the gift. I'm going to need to receive the gift that God is trying to give me. Which is being honest with myself. That's the gift. I get to be honest and receive the honesty in myself and who I truly am and not who I thought I was. I get to receive a gift. That's a beautiful gift to have. In a world of lies and gaslighting and mirrors, I can learn 2 ways. I can learn with myself. But how do I know myself? I go outside and I let other people reflect right back to me, right back to my own self. Every single thing I think is on another person, no, it's me. It still has everything to do with me. That's the craziness. Everything still has everything to do with me. What a beautiful blessing and gift to this life. What a beautiful, funny game to this life. Because everything that I think is an assumption on something else and someone else. It doesn't matter. And everything that I feel, though, is everything that has to do with me. I just get the triggers, which is a story that comes up, pop up, and I'm like, oh my God, I remember this time from such and such and such and such. And then I get distracted thinking that it was the person that made me, etc., etc., etc. When the person can't make me do anything, they help me get triggered. Thought about a story, which is just like EMDR therapy, and process what I had suppressed in me that I was not facing, but someone just gifted me by being a mirror to me. And I can accept that or I can reject that and run with the story that it was them and not me. And run with the story until I finally get it. Rather it takes me 1 year, 5 years, 10, 20 years, 30 years. It's going to be the same running story with all these different lives. And it can only take one moment to process the sensation and allow it to surpass me entirely. Don't get caught up with the story. Allow the sensation to surpass. The story never matters. The story is just a byproduct of what was there from the sensation. And the sensation is where God is. Man. My heart feels slightly open. My heart feels slightly open. I feel slightly lighter. I feel a little more clear. And I'm grateful for that. I just received this message that I had no idea that I was going to say all of this, but I know it was not from me. I know it was from a truthful, honest question and intention that I sent out to God to answer. So, wherever this goes, I hope it lands to where it needs to and bloom as a beautiful seed. But I think I'm going to play this back a few times. And every time I find myself troubled, I'm going to listen to this again until I finally understand and stop running in circles, trying to find another way out and receive what has been said. The only way out is through. It's through. So from this point on, I moved from a place of God, not through my thoughts, not through my thinking and my logic brain, but simply from my heart. Simply without my identity and who I think I am, but simply with openness and readiness, because I don't have to think of how to love. I don't have to think of how God would love. I don't have to think about that. I have to simply open myself with readiness. And then the message, what I need, whatever it is, will land inside of me. And then I just walk. And wherever I go, everything and everyone will receive that, including myself. And that's how that works. It doesn't need my involvement. It just simply needs my openness and readiness, which is me standing out the way and being an open vessel to receive. It's so funny how my mind will worry. Okay, well, I understand I don't need to think and I don't need to do this. So how do I love? How do I? And it's like, why would you worry yourself to death on how to love? What? Why would you worry yourself and go right back to the very place where I've been asked to come out of? Do nothing and receive everything. Don't look for anything. Do nothing and receive everything. It's instant. And the beautiful part is it was always there. I just needed to stand out the way so it can come up like a root out of a plant blooming out of beautiful fresh soil. It just needed a little more wiggle room. And the more I'm clinging on, is the more challenging it will feel for it to come through. The more in surrendering I am, the more easier in flow it will come up. And the less waiting it takes. It's instant. It's always instant. It's always there. I just need to loosen up a bit. And allow it to be there long enough to truly receive what it is that I'm needing. So, that's the message. That's the answer. That's the response. Let it be simple. Everything that's cliche is what I truly need. Everything that sounds cliche is what's the honest truth. It's simple. Let it be simple. Simplicity is a buzzword. It's just another distraction, another buffer, but God will take it. Whatever it takes But the main point is to allow it to be long enough to where it has my full, undivided attention. And that's when a miracle starts to happen. And the blessing starts to overflow. Because I'm no longer in the way. God has fully taken its place. So it's not trying to operate from myself. It's just simply moving aside. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to figure it out. I didn't have to come up with a formulated plan. Any of that. I didn't have to think of it like a speech. Words to say. I just had to move to the side. And everything else was there. Like a full team just working behind the scenes for you. You just needed to walk in. That's all. That was all that was required for me. It's just my presence. And everything else flows. Relax. Just relax. Trust. And then let the beauty and the magic happen.